Oh, it's good to be back in the Smurf. What is up, everybody? David here for another vlogity vlog, and I hope that every single one of you is having a wonderful day. And I am finally back from my trek from the wonderful Big Apple known as New York City. I had not been there in a while, since November when I did the live stream with Cody and the BMW i8. But even before then, I hadn't really been to New York in years. So this was a very interesting experience, thanks to Andrew and Elizabeth White. I met Andrew and Elizabeth White at SEMA. You might remember during the SEMA video, I filmed a Porsche 918. And Elizabeth was kind enough to approach me and ask who I filmed for. And I was like, well, myself. And what do I do? And she was like, well, maybe you should film the 918 sometime. And I was like, oh, would I? But then not too long ago, Elizabeth hits me up and goes, hey, let's film the 918. I was like, wait, are you serious? So I went, and I now officially call this weekend trip the weekend of first. Now, why do I call it the weekend of first? Well, that's because I did a lot of things my first time. First things first, I rode the train. I had never ridden the train before. Well, a real passenger train, you know, there's like amusement park trains and that kind of crap. And I don't count the subway either. I mean, a train for traveling a long distance. And I was a little worried that I wouldn't be able to get to the swing of things and find my way around, but it was pretty simple. It's very smooth. The sensation of a train gives you is very peaceful. You would think that'd be bumpy and crazy, which occasionally you'll hit some bumps, but overall, you're moving too. You're doing a lot of the times over 100 miles an hour, but you don't really feel it. So overall, it's a peaceful experience and you have plenty of legroom, much more than a plane. So once I got to New York, it was my first time in Penn Station. Penn Station is kind of confusing. It's the main train station into New York, and I was a lost puppy. Then after that, I hopped in a cab. Now, it wasn't my first time in a cab, but I kind of want to count it as, because I hadn't ridden in a cab since I was around, I'd say 11 or 12, since another trip to New York, because I used to go there for Christmas sometimes. So technically, kind of, sort of, first cab. You know what? It was my first cab on my own. There we go. Wake up in the morning, and I meet Andrew and Elizabeth at an underground garage where I did the glamour shot short kind of video for you guys of the Bentley and the Porsche 911 50th anniversary. So that was my first time in a underground garage underneath Manhattan. So then we need to leave the garage to go approach the filming spot where the 918 was waiting for us, about 40 minutes away. So then we hopped in the 911. Oh wait, that was my first time in a Porsche 911. Then we went to our spot to go pick up the 918. Then we went to a garage where a bunch of beautiful cars are stored for the winter time. And I'm just looking around and it's like a candy store. So then after that, filmed an old school Camaro doing donuts for the first time. And then there was the main thing. First time sitting in a Porsche 918. So the Porsche 918 claims my first hypercar spot. You know how a lot of cars have the different kind of modes in the car, you know, comfort, sport, race, that sort of thing? Well, I can tell you that the Porsche 918, it's really one of the only cars I've ever been in when you change modes, your body actually really detects it. It's always so odd when you go into full electric mode and you look down at the tachometer and it's at 0 RPM because it's all electric now. So it's weird seeing yourself moving and the tach is at 0. It was also my first time ever filming in the snow for a long period of time, and it was my first time riding in an AMG C63 Black Series, or really AMG at all. So then I wake up the next morning and Elizabeth texts me and says, hey, would you like to drive the C63? And I'm like, oh boy, would I. Then after filming that all day, we got invited to a Super Bowl party out in the boons of New York. It was by this guy named Sal. He had started his own business and he was a wonderful person. Him and his family were some of the nicest people I'd ever met, and they were very accepting. And you know, I go into his house and there's a Lamborghini Diablo SV with the SV on the side, and a Corvette C1, a Countach that's white on white. I'm just like, this is a whole new world, man. This is nuts. I was like the movie Aladdin, a whole new world. Right before that, he had let me ride a snowmobile for the first time too. I also got to see a goat ride a snowmobile for the first time, so that was pretty interesting. And I know I keep saying, and then after that, you know, I know this all sounds very glamorous, but remember, I was filming most of this time, but at the same time, I had never packed so much crap into 48 hours since like my road rally. So then the next morning I get stuck in Penn Station, my train gets delayed, first time getting a train delayed. Then after that got stuck in Washington DC on the way home, then got home at 1 a.m. in the morning to find that my 100,000 subscribers plaque had finally arrived in the mail. So I end this legendary story with first time getting a YouTube award. So that was my series of first, guys. I hope you enjoyed this long story and my experience in New York City. For all of my New York viewers, you guys are awesome. So many people were so accepting and generous to help me out whenever I needed to ask about something. And it's an overall great place. It reeks of opportunity and people have an awesome mindset that you can do anything. Huge thanks to Andrew and Elizabeth for everything they had done for me. Oh my man, I'm lost for words how generous they were on letting me do all these things. And I'm extremely blessed and I know it, and I'm never gonna take it for granted, especially because of you guys. So question of the day: what was one of your favorite firsts you've ever done in your life? Like the first time you did something. And with that, I will see you guys next time, and take it easy. Have a good one.